Right, I'm here to talk a little bit about how you set up Cite tapes using the Archer's website. First of all, how do you set up a Cite tape? Well, people do this in different ways, but I'm going to give you the most simplistic way. What you need to do is you need to go out and get 3 Cite marks. Whether you're shooting recurve or compound. You want a short mark, not under 20 meters, and you want to spend some time. That's going to be a good mark. You're working hard to get that exactly in the middle. Bear in mind that even on a bow this quick, and it's with a recurve, it's even more critical, that exactly in the middle, not just shooting high or low of the spot, is going to make a large difference to where you end up with a Cite tape. Then you want to go out to a distance that you are comfortable that you can shoot a good group. Spend some time at that distance, maybe 50 meters, somewhere around there. Spend some time at that distance getting a Cite mark. You want one other mark, really just to check how good your tape is going to be. So go out another 20 meters, even if your discipline doesn't require that, and get a 70 meter Cite mark. Get it as good as that you can. Having got these marks, log on to the website, fill out the details, arrow weight, the parameters that all Cite tape programs ask for is this distance from the arrow to the peep sight. If you're shooting recurve, that's the distance from where the arrow is to where your eye is in line with the string. If it's shooting a compound, obviously it's to the center of this peep sight. You're then looking for this measurement which is at full draw, which is the distance between the scope lens and the peep sight. Again, if you're shooting recurve, that's just back to the string position when you're at full draw. Goes without saying, do take these measurements carefully, but also do them safely. So, don't do anything stupid while you are doing this. Once you've got those 2 measurements, and they need to be reasonably accurate, but it's not going to, the maths of these programs is quite robust. You input these in, and it'll ask you to put in your Cite marks. You put in the long 50 meter mark, you put in the short mark, and you'll generate some Cite marks. A lot of people think this is then job done. You'll also get a bow speed, but I'll come back to that. Once you've got these 2 marks, have a quick check. You've got that long mark, that 70 meter mark, just to see that everything's right. Really just to see that you haven't put things in wrong. If the 70 meter mark is a million miles away, then you've inputted some data wrong, and go back to that. So you've got your Cite tape, you put it on, you go to 20 meters just so that you can set this pin roughly. However, this is where people make a mistake. You're going to set your pin on the long distance that you shot, on the 50 meter. You go back to 50 meters, you spend some time shooting arrows until they're exactly in the middle, and then you spend a little bit of careful time setting this pin, whether it's got a magnifier, whether it doesn't, you set this pin to where you want it. Now, at that point, you're going to check the Cite tape. And you're going to check the Cite tape by going up to your 20 meter mark, setting it on your scale at 20 meters, not on the number scale that you've got on this side, but on your actual tape, and you're going to shoot some arrows. You expect, if this tape is correct, you expect the short mark, the one you can shoot well, to be exactly right. If it's not exactly right, you move your sight until it's somewhere around it, until you're shooting in the middle, and you look to see on this tape where it says. So if to shoot 20 meters, on your tape it says 18, you are then going to have to go and make a longer tape. And this is where we start talking about the bow speed. The bow speed that these programs manufacture, if you input all the details correctly, it will match what your chronograph says. If it doesn't, that's not a big deal, but you're using it as an idea of what you need to do to the tape to get the tape correct. So if, as I've said, your 50 meter mark is spot on, you go up, you shoot 20 meters, and to shoot in the middle, it's actually saying 18 on this tape, you are going to want to print out another tape. You're going to want to print out a tape that's a little bit longer. That means that the speed number is going to be a little bit slower. And these programs allow you to go in and alter that speed, or to judge what you want to do from that speed. This is not a quick job. If you're going to shoot field, if you're going to shoot target, but if you're going to shoot field, the time spent making a perfect tape is the most important thing that you will do. Once you've got that 20 and 50 shooting exactly where you want it on the tape, go back and check some other distances. Check longer, check out to 70. You can take for granted that the 20 to 50, those distances in between will be correct, but make sure that they are shooting where you expect them. And then, to be fair, if you've set a tape up properly, the biggest error is not putting the pin in the right place when you're actually in competition. Okay, just a quick look at how you measure these parameters. So, you need to have an arrow on the bow. Really, there are safety issues, but it's also about, it's safer with an arrow on than not. Go on. So, first measurement that we're going to look at is this peep sight to scope. That's going to be from the centre of the peep sight to the outside of the lens. And you would look at it, just write that down, and then we'll look at this one, which is the one that, it's not too critical if you get it right, but it's the one that people make mistakes with. So we're measuring from here to the centre of the arrow. And that will give you that. If you're shooting a recurve, you mark on the string, or you can just see where this would be on your eye.